Hello and welcome to another episode of the Football Lookout. I'm your host, Basil, today, and I am joined by who? Ryan first? Let's go.
You don't have to go to me first, dog. There was no need for this.
Ryan, what team do you support?
This week.
Milan are second in the league right now, bro. We out here.
This week.
We out here.
I have to ask this week. Like, who do you support this week?
Oh, this week, my Newcastle jersey's still chilling in the closet, so we'll see.
Fair enough.
But yeah, hello.
Okay, and we've got Ibi and Saif and Imran as well. So, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well,
It is
bro.
a nice Monday afternoon, I guess, here in Atlanta.
Yep,
Yeah, it's night time here.
It's been a great day so far, man. Very chill.
It's been warmer than I expected.
All right. Hey, man, we needed it after all that
True.
rain we had this
True,
weekend.
it was
Oh,
horrible.
facts.
All right, so it's been a while. We had the international break that's still going on this week, but last week we had some interesting results. We started off and kicked off the Premier League weekend with a 4-0 Chelsea win at home to Crystal Palace. Seemed like a pretty routine win for Chelsea. Looks like the new boys turned up, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crystal Palace, I feel like always bend over in London derbies. So
This is true.
Sounds about right.
wasn't really surprised there. Everton with a 4-2 win over Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
They're red hot, man. 4 out of 4 to start the league.
Yep.
So they've started the league in fine form with Calvert-Lewin, probably the hottest striker in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had probably the best match of that day was Leeds and Man City, a 1-1 draw. What did you guys think about that one?
Great watch of football. Like, just a great
I'm
game
salty,
of football.
man. They should have won.
They
Leeds should've won.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Yeah, that second half they were fantastic. Leeds.
Unbelievable. They're gonna bloody a lot of noses this season, especially at the big teams.
For sure. They play real well too. I like it.
Yeah, me too. I like this style of play.
Yeah, 7 points from 4 games to start off the season against some big names as well. They've already played Liverpool and Man City, so good start for them, to be honest. And then we ended off Saturday with a 3-1 win for Newcastle against Burnley, who actually have not started off the season very hot. Kind of concerning for Burnley.
Couldn't have happened to a better team.
You went. And Nick Pope is killing my team right now, man. John Stone from West Brom's getting me more points than him.
that game was.
But yeah, we moved on.
Oh, sorry. That game
go
was
ahead.
really good for me because Alan Saint-Maximin had a goal and an assist. 2 assists, I think.
Shocking, to be
And then
honest.
Colin Wilson
We're talking
sorry.
about fantasy?
got excited there.
Bro, I was against you, bro. My team dropped like 50 plus points, and I still lost because of this
Bro,
guy.
it's because it's Newcastle game. Wilson and Maximin.
Yeah, they got you a bunch of points, man.
While we're on the topic of fantasy, who's at the top of the table right now? Does anyone know? Anyone know who's at the
I
table?
mean, given the way that you said it, I think it's you, huh?
It's too easy. The game is too easy, lads. Game is too easy.
Look at this guy, man.
Yeah, you started off pretty well. I'll give that to you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I
finish fourth, don't worry.
I think the whole weekend was sort of overshadowed by the matches on Sunday. So we had some pretty historic results here. I think three major games. The first one being Man United 1, Tottenham 6.
Hey, Ryan, you want to speak?
Can I just say, man, that shit had me hype.
Okay, imagine.
Bro, that was a crazy game. I think a lot of you guys probably heard about all the action from that match. Spurs, I think even if it was 11-11, would have comfortably won the game. Probably not 6-1, but probably I think by at least a 3-goal margin.
What do you think about that, Ryan?
Is he still here?
Are we really gonna do this?
Oh, 100%.
Just
We're
asking
really
you.
gonna do
We're
this?
just having a
Mhm.
discussion here, bro. This is a
Okay,
football
okay, fine,
podcast.
fine. I'll say two things about it. I'll say two things about it. One, fuck Lamella. I hope he gets run over, and whoever runs him over slowly backs up, and then runs them over again. He's a piece of shit. He's a diver. He's a cunt. He's every word you can possibly think of. I hate him. I hate him so much. And the ref was garbage, and I give him a red as well. But as y'all know, I was watching the game with you guys on Discord. I stopped watching immediately after that red happened. Logged off. Was done for the day, whatever. And two, Luke Shaw is a piece of shit. I'm just gonna say this.
Bro,
That tackle on Lucas Moura was disgusting, and it's even
should have been a red.
No, it should have been 100%. He should have got 5 red cards for that. he should have been banned for half the season. But it just concerns me because he's had a insane leg break, and you're in that position where the ball, you're not gonna get the ball anyway. There's no possible way you're gonna get the ball, and you're gonna put in a risky tackle like that. It's just disgusting seeing that he's gone through that injury and he's doing these risky tackles like that. It's nasty.
Yeah, genuinely like a 0 out of 6, like 0 out of 10 performance. Like if there was a 0 out of 10 performance, like that was Luke Shaw in that game.
Luke Shaw was by far
Like he was
the worst.
directly at fault for so many goals.
Oh, I mean,
I
I would have.
feel
His positioning was so bad.
There was this one point we were watching, and then Shaw was inside of Maguire.
He's playing as a middle centre back in a back three. That's what he's doing.
How could he do
Like,
that?
what's
How
he
could he
doing?
play as a middle centre back in a back four?
What is he
His
doing?
positioning was awful on many occasions. Like the first ones that come to my mind was the Aurier goal, which is the fifth goal, the first goal in the second half, where Pogba I think did pretty poorly in midfield, and then Luke Shaw was just completely absent and wasn't able to track Aurier. And then even before that, in the first half, for Son's fourth goal, or for the fourth goal of the game, which was Son's second, you could hear De Gea just screaming at Luke Shaw to like take that position to make sure that Son doesn't get the ball, and he just doesn't listen at all. He completely runs towards the ball on the wing, whoever is crossing it in, and leaves Son wide open, and he just slides it past De Gea. It was honestly like probably one of the worst backline, like as a whole, backline defending performance from a top 16 that I've seen in a long, long time.
Shout out to Harry Maguire, by the way. He knew how bad Shaw is as a defender, so for the first goal, he tried to literally track him down so he could try and defend the goal.
Rayon,
It's
just
an
so you
exquisite
know,
piece of
right?
defending.
That's basically what Kolasinac does every other game for us. So I'm glad you got to feel that.
I mean, he doesn't start for y'all.
But yeah, that was a crazy game. I won't say too much. But yeah, fantastic from Spurs.
So
honestly.
you don't want to say anything about the red? Do you want to mention that at all?
I mean, you touched on it a little bit. Honestly, if I was the referee, I would have just probably given 2 yellow cards.
Yeah, I agree with that. 2 yellow cards. Go on with the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is sure what Lamella did wasn't like the sportiest thing to do.
Oh,
right?
you elbowed him. Fam, come on.
I mean, it wasn't like really like an elbow, like it wasn't like a. I don't know. To me, it wasn't like a violent elbow or anything.
You're right.
It
They
was
were
sort of
they were
like,
just standing there, and he elbowed his face. Got it. Just nothing violent about it.
No, I mean, I feel like you see those on like almost every corner, to be honest. But I think what happened is he got baited, like Martial got baited by Lamella, and he took the bait, and he got sent off for it. He should have been smarter than that. I mean, obviously it's annoying that a dude's trying to do that to you on a corner, but he didn't have to react, and I think that's where he made a mistake.
In my opinion,
But no, like I said, I don't think it changed the result overall.
in my opinion, if Martial gets sent off, then Lamella has to get sent off as well. That's just my opinion.
100%. But
'Cause
again,
that
I
was
would just
barely
give
a
2
slap.
yellows.
That was barely a slap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think 2 yellows would have sufficed.
Yeah, Spurs were great. I think their midfield played great, and Dumble had a fantastic game. Kane and Son continue to link up for goals and assists. Overall, it capped a fantastic congested 2-week period for Spurs, and I think Jose is sort of proving himself. I know he's received a lot of critique over the last 6-7 months for how Spurs have been playing, but the sort of counter-attacking style that they've been putting together in the last few games, especially against Southampton, against United, and even in the Europa League as well. I mean, they've scored 13 goals in 2 games, and then if you include the Southampton game, 18 goals, so in 3 matches. Fantastic play from them. Later, also that weekend, we had a surprise result with Leicester losing 3-0 at home to West Ham, which is quite a shame because, they had that fantastic result against Man City away from home, and then they just lose at home 3-0 to West Ham.
I don't think they had a shot on target that game, Leicester, which makes it even more wild.
How do you explain how the difference between the two performances?
You mean between Leicester's performance at Man City and Leicester's performance at West Ham?
Yeah.
I think Leicester's game against Man City was more dictated towards what Man City would do, and then Leicester countered against that. But when it came to West Ham, I think that they tried to impose themselves. So they tried to do the opposite. Instead of countering what the other team was doing, they tried to impose themselves on West Ham. And I have to give West Ham credit. They were immaculate in defending. They made it very tough to actually play through, which is how Leicester like to play. And they just completely nullified Vardy. They dropped back deep. They were very compact. Leicester couldn't get through. Bearing in mind, Leicester were missing, quite a few first-team players. But yeah, it was just a shock result. And then when West Ham did go out to counter or to attack, it was just easy. I'll be honest, like Mikel Antonio's first goal, he gets the foul, he passes the ball out to the other side, and then he just makes a run into the box completely unopposed. So yeah, it was just easy for West Ham to just run through. It was like night and day difference the way that Leicester were defending, because the way they defended at Man City and the way they defended against West Ham is just like night and day, man. It's weird.
Yeah, so West Ham have put together a couple of good results now. I know a lot of us were really wary of how they might perform this season. I know a lot of us were considering them for relegation.
I was for sure.
I still have them for relegation.
He was lobbying for that relegation.
So, Rayan's a West Ham hater, bro.
Facts.
But I guess after we've seen them perform now, and now some of their signings last season have had a year now with in the team and in the Premier League. Where do you guys see West Ham finishing? I mean, I know we don't want to be too reactionary off of these just few results, but they've looked really good the last couple games.
It's too early, bro. I think
20th.
it's too early. I would say if you look at the teams above them, you've got your traditional top 6, they're not better than any of them. You've got Everton, Wolves, that's 7, 8.
They beat Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, they did beat Wolves, but
4-0.
over the course of the season, we know.
Yeah, West Ham's not going to sustain this form.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. Me personally, I don't think they can. I hope they can, but I don't think they can sustain it.
Yeah, I mean, but do you think they'll be in a relegation fight at all this season?
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's still very early on, but by the look of it, I doubt West Ham would be in the relegation battle right now, because we've seen a lot of teams get off to a good start and then fade away and collapse or whatever. But so far it looks like West Ham will probably finish around mid-table, a respectable finish. Also, keep in mind, what's that guy? Who's that guy from the Championship? Benrahma.
Benrahma, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Apparently they've agreed a deal to sign him. So that's for like £30 million allegedly. So that's an interesting signing.
He would be a big signing, yeah. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, the domestic window in England is still open until what is it, the 16th?
Yes, the 16th.
Or so? Yeah, the 16th, and so players can't come in from abroad, but players in the Premier League and in the Championship and the lower divisions can still freely move between each other.
Just some stats on that Leicester game. Leicester has 70% possession, but it's like I was saying, they couldn't play through West Ham because West Ham were defending quite well. And it's reflected there. They had no shots on target. They only had 4 shots the whole game. Compare it to West Ham, and like I said, it was very easy for West Ham to get through them and attack. With only 30% of the ball, they had 14 shots. 6 on target. So it just goes to show you the contrast between the teams.
Yeah, like you said, it was the complete opposite of the City game. Like the roles were switched.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, but even with that result, Leicester are still, I think, 3rd in the table or something like that. So they've had a good start to the season as well.
Yeah.
Despite this result, Southampton had a pretty routine win over West Brom at 2-0. Wolves also ran out 1-0 winners against Fulham. It wasn't a game that really had that many chances. I think maybe a draw probably would have been a fair result. I remember I'd watched some of that game. But at the end of the day, Wolves came out with a 1-0 win, which is just disappointing for Fulham. It seems like they're going to be struggling with these kinds of games all season.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal with a 2-1 win over Sheffield United, who have not started the season off very well, Sheffield.
Yeah. The thing is, I saw them last week at Leeds, and obviously I watched the Arsenal game. They're not a bad team, man. They're not. I don't know about relegation. I don't think they're going to be relegated. But if they don't start scoring goals, it's going to be dangerous for them, man.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that was like their biggest challenge last season as well. I think out of all the top 10 teams, they had scored the fewest goals.
It's all right though, because they got Ryan Brewster now, so it's all good. They're going to be banging them in.
Bro, I couldn't even tell you anything about that guy.
I don't even know who he is.
He's a young kid from
Except
Liverpool.
that he's another Jordan Ibe.
They spent a lot of money on him. Like, what is it, 23 million
about
pounds?
23 million pounds.
You know
so
what? Liverpool are the best sellers. Liverpool are hands down the best sellers.
I don't get how they keep doing
managed
it.
to
Honestly.
do it.
Solanke, right? How much did you sell Solanke?
20 mil.
Yeah, 20 mil.
I don't know how.
For David
I don't know
Solanke.
how. He had like 1 Premier League appearance. And they...
Bro,
I think they
neither
got
of them has
helped
scored a
that-
Premier League goal, and they sold them for like 60 mil together. It makes no sense.
100, man. I just don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
Also, like, Bournemouth have just been bad buyers over
True,
the last few years as well. They seem to buy in Liverpool.
That is very true. But yo, Ibby, I know you mentioned it real quick. Jordan Ibe. I just want to say I remember back in the day when everyone would say, "Oh yeah, Jordan Ibe is gonna be the next big thing." I'm glad we're getting rid of Sterling. You know, we got to keep Ibe, and it's just funny looking back at that.
I might, off the record, be guilty of saying that.
You said off the record.
I will on the record say.
So you're saying that off the record?
On the record, off the
right
record,
now.
yes. I allegedly may have told Ibby this one day as we were walking on Georgia State's campus in the afternoon, that Jordan Ibe has what it takes to be the next Sterling, and so we can sell Sterling.
Good lord.
So that didn't age well.
Wow. That's a big oof.
But my guy Jordan Ibe was going through some
Big
stuff
oof.
mentally, apparently. So I think it sounds like he's in a better place now, so that's good.
What was he going through? Was it the Aston Villa result?
What? Who's Aston Villa?
It's Aston Villa. Come
so
on.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that brings us to our probably the match of the weekend. Somehow United Spurs one wasn't. But yeah, Aston Villa 7,
What?
Liverpool 2. Take it away, boys.
It was so bad, Klopp just gave up and started laughing.
Legit.
Game.
He started smiling.
He was like, all these deflections, man, one after the other.
He looked at the Aston Villa players and he's like, "You're the new Southampton. I'm coming for you."
He was
That's
like,
mad.
Jack Grealish, I'm coming for you.
Call me. Cool,
Bro,
Man, I want to clown Liverpool so hard right now, but I was too depressed to even watch that game.
You know what? I think genuinely Aston Villa have probably had the top 4 or 5 best transfer window in the Premier League.
yeah, they brought in some good players.
Yeah, they genuinely have. Like, I think they could definitely build off of from last season, and I think they'll comfortably finish
Top half
somewhere in the mid table. Yeah,
Yeah, I
at
agree.
least. Which is good for them. They're a big club, so it's good to see them and like them and their investors spending big to
Facts.
build this team back up again.
Yeah, it's just mad. Okay, so this 7-2. I'm sorry, it's worse than the Arsenal Man United 8-2, in my opinion, considering the levels of the team. So the level that Arsenal were at back then, and the level that Liverpool are at. Liverpool,
Bro,
are one of,
you've got
we can say that Liverpool are probably top 5 teams in the world right now, and they got hit for 7. Oh, it's ridiculous. It comes to a point as well, is that their high line wasn't working. So at what point does someone on the field take charge and say, drop back 5 yards or drop back 10 yards? I don't know. It was just weird. It's just, yeah.
I would just like to say to everyone listening that thankfully I was on the road. I was out of town at the time, so I didn't have to witness this absolute garbage of a match. So I was spared. You don't know how happy I was that United lost 6-1. Maguire was being clowned. I was like, Gomez greater than Maguire. I was feeling it. And then I'm driving, right?
God.
I'm on the highway. I'm in
God.
freaking Oklahoma. So I'm bored out of my mind, right? So I check my phone. Don't text and drive. But I check my phone, and I just see 4-1 halftime Aston Villa. I'm like, what? I nearly swerve into the other lane by mistake. I have to do a double take, and it's 4-1 at halftime. I keep on driving. I'm like, nah, no way, right? That can't happen. I end up stopping, but by then the game was already over. And I checked the score, and it's 7-2. I'm like, what the heck happened? Because we were only missing Allison and one other person. I think Mane. Yeah, so we're missing two players.
And Mane. I think it was Allison, Henderson, and Mane.
Okay, 3 players. Okay.
3.
But still, the highline clearly was not working. I ate all my words that I was saying after the Spurs match. It was just, I expected Klopp to change something at halftime, but clearly that didn't work. So it's just we have these weird results every season where we just get beaten up really badly by a team. I don't know why, but it just happens at least once every season. And this was it. Credit to Villa. They deserved it, obviously. They got a lot of deflections, but clearly our high line wasn't working, and they knew how to take advantage of that. Ollie Watkins, though, what a signing so far for Villa, right?
Oh, what a performance!
Yeah, wonderful.
He should have scored 5
goals. He genuinely could have had 5 goals.
Really could have. I think their best bit of business may have been keeping Grealish.
What about Ross Barkley? Ross Barkley could have had 2 or 3 more.
The Nigerian prince.
Yeah, he's a fraud. No, I'm joking.
Don't tell Darius.
But no, I mean, how much of this, I'm not saying this is all Van Dijk's fault, but how much
Can we say
do you
that?
think Liverpool's defensive problems in 2020, I think of Watford, I think of Atletico, I think of Man City, and now this Aston Villa result. These are some pretty big results that Liverpool have been on the wrong side of. And how much of that do you think is it just a bad performance? Are we seeing a decline in Virgil van Dijk, or what do you guys think it is?
I think Gomez was the worst. Gomez and Alexander-Arnold, absolute pants.
Yeah, they're very disappointing that match.
They were so bad. Ridiculous. Van Dijk and Robertson were bad, don't get me wrong, but them two especially were bad. But to answer your question, Basil, I don't know if Van Dijk is getting a bit too comfortable, because against the Leeds he wasn't that great, and now this game, and I don't know, man. Maybe before attackers used to be a bit scared of Van Dijk, but nowadays I think they're just going at him with no fear. and they're just like, no, we're going to take you on. Because even Watkins, like he was pushing around Van Dijk, and Grealish was fucking twisting and turning him, making him look like a championship player. So it was, I don't know.
Yeah, he had that 1 meg on him.
Yeah, 100. So I don't know. I think at first when Van Dijk was putting in these stellar performances, attackers were a bit like, oh shit, this is a guy that we can't get past. But I think now people are just like, fuck it, we're just gonna go at him, and it's working.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Netherlands matches during this international break yet, but I also heard that they haven't played that well defensively either. And I don't want to put too much blame on Van Dijk right now because it's still like the sample size of all these matches isn't that big yet. But he is sort of the common denominator. And you would think that, he's given his age, he should still be in his prime as a center back. So, yeah, I don't know if it's the lack of protection in midfield, perhaps. I don't know who you would necessarily blame on that, or if it's just the back line. I mean, obviously, we all knew that Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't the greatest defender. His strengths is definitely on the other side of the pitch, but definitely concerning from Liverpool's point of
Yeah, I
view.
mean, in Van Dijk's defense, his national team manager is Frank de Boer. And being Atlanta United fans, we know how that can be. So I would just like to say, cut him a little bit of slack. His manager is Frank de Boer.
That is
But
true.
yeah, now like you
The
said,
worst
we've
manager
seen,
in
we've
Premier
seen
League
some
history.
attackers recently take him on and have some good performances against him and the backline in general. But I think it really comes down to not Van Dijk declining, but the fact that over the past few months, even after the restart, we started like trying it, sort of, but especially this season, we've been implementing it. Like against Atleti, I think we just had a bad result. We fell apart. Just not gave up, but we just collapsed after Adrian made his mistake. Which you hate to see, but it happens. Against Watford, and Man City, and those are bad results. Same with the Aston Villa, but over the past few months, we've been trying to implement this like high line. For some reason, Klopp has tried to like adapt and like try something new, and the high line has been weird for us to adjust to, and it hasn't been a clean adjustment. Because even against Leeds, you saw Leeds, kind of taking advantage of that as well. They played really well against us. And Aston Villa obviously took advantage of that. But over the past few months, this high line has been kind of risky. So I'm not really a fan of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So after 4 game weeks in the Premier League, we only have 2 undefeated teams left, I think. Or no, 2 teams with a perfect record, I think. And that's Everton and Aston Villa. So I don't think many people had those 2 on their list for in the beginning of the season, but here we are. Sticking on the topic of the Premier League, there's been a lot of controversy in the last few days, mostly in the UK. So Imran, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about this new pay-per-view idea that they seem to be implementing.
I'm not happy. Okay, so for those who might not know, so the Premier League are deciding to show 3 p.m. games, which they wouldn't normally show, because there was this thing that it was called the 3 p.m. ban. It's a long-standing ban, on broadcasters that they're not allowed to show 3 p.m. games, because they want to encourage people to go to the stadiums and watch. Which, okay, fine. But yeah, they lifted it because of COVID, and they've been giving it to us for free. But now they're deciding to charge $14.95 for every match. In my opinion, this is a really bad moment in time to start charging people. First of all, I know people in other countries, I don't know, you guys might as well, but there's I think DAZN have their own package where you pay £60 and you get all the matches, Champions League, Premier League, all the matches. And I think there's ESPN do their own one, or there's some other ones that do their own ones as well. But the Premier League have decided to charge $14.95 per match, which is it's just ridiculous, especially in England right now, where people are losing their jobs. We're heading towards a recession. We've got the Sky. We're paying for Sky Sports. We're paying for BT Sports, and now they're asking us to pay. It's not a small amount. It's $14.95 per match. That's not even a whole day thing. That's like for 3 hours. You're paying for £15 almost. So I think that the timing of it is really bad, considering the, how everyone's been hit hard by COVID. Also, it's just I don't think people are going to be encouraged to pay $14.95 to watch fucking Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Who's going to pay 50? Unless you're a fan of those clubs, who's going to pay £15 to watch that? They're not. They're really not. And it's going to push people. Well, the thing is, people were streaming anyway. I'm going to out all of you guys. I'm sure everyone here has streamed. Everyone goes on a stream. But it's going to push more people.
I've never done that, bro.
Gasp.
I always pay for it.
Listen, you have. I know you have. You're maybe not streaming football, but you're streaming something. But anyway. But yes, but the $14.95, I've lost my train of thought now. So the £15 is so it's going to push more people into streaming, right? But the problem with that is football, of course, has a very young audience. People like us, we're young people. We know how to find streams. We know how to navigate our way through the internet and get a good stream. But football is also made up of a very mature audience, people who might not know about streams. Like I said, all of us have streamed. We know sometimes there's pop-ups that randomly come up, or you need to find the little X on the stream, or sometimes the stream could crash and you need to find a new one, etc. So it kind of excludes streaming. It's not for everyone. So there's a lot of people that say the argument that, if you can't afford it, just use a stream. But a stream is not viable for everyone. And it's just financially, it's not at a good price point. I get it. They didn't show the 3 PM games before, and now they're showing it. And a lot of people, there was a famous sports lady. She came on Twitter asking, what's wrong with the price point, and she got absolutely flamed. She got flamed so hard she deleted her tweet. But,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, but okay, so $14.95. So an Arsenal ticket, roughly, let's say it's Arsenal versus West Brom, it's going to be roughly about £35. Or you go into the more expensive or more high-profile games, you're looking at about 60 or even more. But the thing with watching a game live and watching a game in the at home, I mean, you guys have gone to Atlanta United games. There is a massive, massive difference from watching a game live to watching it on the TV. When you watch 100%. A game,
100%.
Exactly. Watching a game live, there's that camaraderie between the fans. There's that atmosphere, the electricity. You're singing songs, you're having a good time. You're there. You're watching the team that you love is right in front of you. It's a whole experience, and this price point at $14.95, it's about a third or a quarter of the price of a normal ticket, but the value of it is so much less. It really is. So to pay that much for just one match, it's not. I don't think it's right. I really don't think it's right. I just think it's a way for the Premier League to make more money.
Imran, I see what you're saying, but I think on the flip side, it's just a way to bring some revenue back to the clubs who, they're not getting paid £30 to £50 per seat anymore. So it's a way to, help.
Yeah, no, 100, but I 100% get that. But okay. Arsenal versus Man City is on this weekend. People might pay. I'm not gonna pay. Fuck that. I'm streaming. But
you think I'm gonna pay to watch us get piped?
Have faith, man. You guys can make City drop points.
Never that. But no, hold on. So people will pay for that, right? But what about the other games? What about the Wolves versus Fulham, or like I said, the Crystal Palace versus Burnley?
You know what I'll say about the Wolves versus Fulham, right? I mean, it's just kind of like those fans who go to every game. Maybe they see it that way.
Of course, but again, not all of those fans are gonna buy the stream. But also, it prices people out, because $14.95 is a lot of money, man. If they have to add it on top of their Sky bill, add it on top of their BT Sports subscription, add it on top of every other cost that they have for the month. You know, it's a lot, to be fair, for some people. Especially, that's what I said. The timing of it is really bad because in England, people are losing their jobs. People are being asked to retrain themselves and find other jobs. You know, people are stuck on benefits, not getting enough money to even pay their own water bill. So, and you're asking them to pay £14 a match. So just the timing of it is really bad as well. Asking people to pay £15 a match. So it's all in really bad taste. And you know, yes, you know, there are other alternatives. You don't have to pay the £14.95, but if you're given a choice that is, to be honest, as bad as this one, then you have every right to question it, to ridicule it, to you know, just be angry about it, because these guys need to be held to account. The Premier League need to know what is right and what is wrong, what they can and what they cannot do. So I'm glad that they're getting the backlash out of this. That's my rant, really.
Yeah. And then I also heard you talk this week about this this new power grab that some of the big clubs are trying.
Oh yeah.
To suggest.
Oh my lord, this is some cartel bullshit. So there was it was Liverpool, or Liverpool's. I think they started this proposal off, and it's been backed by Man United heavily.
Oh boy.
And Liverpool.
The proposal, it's weird. It's just like there's some good things in it. You look at it, you're just like, oh, these are good, and then right in like the fine print is like the most devious thing ever. So it's called the big picture proposal, right? And they frame it as a way to help the lower league clubs, because what the coronavirus has shown people is that the EFL clubs, the football league, so League 1, League 2, etc., the clubs are barely surviving. They could be extinct after the coronavirus. So the proposal aims to, you know, give extra funding to these EFL clubs. So I think around 250 million a year, stuff like that. Yeah, other parts of the proposal were like capping away tickets at £20. Again, that's great. Because people spend a lot of money travelling, and then they spend another £60 to £70 on away tickets. So capping it at £20 is a great idea. They want to decrease the number of teams in the Premier League to 18. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I don't really care, I guess.
Do you know what the justification for that part was?
No, they didn't give any kind of justification. They just said, oh yes, sorry, to ease fixture congestion, to ease the number of games that they have per season, and like on top of that, they want to scrap the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup, which I'm all for, by the way.
I'm good with that.
The fact that our games, are wasted on that. But the devious part was that, so you had all these good things, but what made it really cunning and devious was right in the middle. It said, basically, the big clubs, the big six, don't like the fact that everyone in the Premier League has a vote. So their proposal is to have the big six plus the three other teams. Those teams are Everton, Southampton, and Newcastle, I think. Yeah. Everton, Southampton, and Newcastle, because they're the longest running teams in the top flight or some bullshit. And basically they are the ones who can make the decision. And instead of 14 out of 20 teams or voting to pass a motion, it's only 6 out of 9. So, you know, they can make changes to the league, to the format, and get this. Let's say a new owner wants to buy Huddersfield. They can actually veto that owner from buying a club. So it's just literally, it's a massive power grab. So the power of the whole Premier League, the power over some teams, will be held in the hands of these big six clubs. And honestly, it is the most fucked up, greedy, cartel-like thing that I've seen. And I'm disgusted. I'm genuinely disgusted by it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I get the thing about the fixtures. I'm not too sure. Like, so in La Liga and in the Bundesliga, how many games are there? Um,
36.
So that would be in the So yeah, La Liga has 20 teams. But the Bundesliga has 18, and so you play the 17 other teams twice. So that would be 34 weeks, or like 34 matches.
yeah, I'm just thinking to like the Christmas period, how how congested it is.
Yeah, that is a good
And
point.
that leads to injuries, and I also feel like this is a little side note, but I feel like it kind of maybe even will lead English teams to have a slight disadvantage in the Champions League because they just had all these fixtures in like December, and they go back in January and February. They're not as they can be a little fatigued from that. Whereas like teams like German teams, they've had a bit of a rest, and they're raring to go. But at 18 teams, I wonder if there's like, I don't know, Imran, do you think there's a better way to like deal with the congestion as opposed to just cut off 2 teams?
Get rid of the Carabao Cup.
Okay, you saying that as a, what about the smaller teams who might want a chance to win that cup?
Okay, so I've said this before. I've said that the EFL Cup should include just the teams below the Premier League. So all of the leagues below the Premier League, they can be involved in the EFL Cup. But I don't think Premier League teams should be involved, or at least if you don't want to do that, the teams with the European football, so the teams with Champions League and Europa League football, they should be excluded. From the EFL Cup. But the thing is, I think Bundesliga is the only league within the top 5 leagues to have 18 teams. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is just the Bundesliga. But all the other leagues, they have a winter break. Their games aren't so congested. Sorry. It's just the Premier League, because honestly, of the EFL Cup is just in those games, and it just adds like a couple of games onto like the 8 games or 7 games that you already have.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad suggestion, because there's even like a tier of trophy below called the EFL Trophy.
Yeah.
Which is like League 1 and below. So if we did somehow modify the Carabao Cup to be like championship clubs and below, that could work. Because I know there's supposed to be a new tier of European competition coming out, which is like supposed to be a tier below the Europa League.
Yeah.
And I think the winners of the League Cup would qualify for that. And so maybe some Premier League teams might want the League Cup to stay just so they could potentially qualify for that. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see if any of this passes. I think there was some, like you mentioned, some definitely some positive in these proposals, but the changes to the voting in the Premier League does not seem to be
democratic at all,
fair at all. And then on top of that, I don't see how that would pass, because wouldn't that change require 14 out of the 20 current teams to agree to that? Which doesn't make sense. There's no way that they would, because they would essentially be disenfranchising themselves.
Yeah, 100. I mean, the EFL Cups are all for it because they're getting more money, but the other Premier League clubs are not happy. They're not happy.
Yep. Well, as we mentioned earlier, the domestic transfer window is still open for a few more days, but the European transfer window has formally closed last week, about 6 days ago from when we recorded this. And there were some deadline day moves. We saw Edinson Cavani finally find a club. I'm surprised it took until deadline day for that to happen, given that he was a free agent. But how do you guys rate that signing for Man United?
I'm questioning, why did he take the number 7? That's Jadon Sancho's number.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why you're making this joke, because I don't know who you thought was, imagining we were gonna sign Sancho. Wasn't me.
No, it was
I can
you.
tell you
It was
that.
you.
Was not me.
It was another United
I
fan
mean,
I
you.
know who told me and Idris for months that United are signing Sancho. There's no other club for him.
Oh God.
Beautiful, honestly. You love to see it.
To answer your question, Basil, you can't give it higher than the 5 or 6. They didn't need a striker. They needed a right winger, a left back, possibly a CDM, centre back. You know, they did not. They are strong in the striker department. Oh, so I give it a 5, bro. I give it a 5. No higher than that.
Yeah, he hasn't played in 7 months, so I think it's gonna take him some time to get fit.
Now, if it was the Cavani from 4 years ago, I'd be like, oh crap, United have just got a player.
Right,
on their hands,
yeah.
You know? But like you said, he's been horse riding and hasn't played in like a year.
Yeah, and they did sign a left back from Porto, right?
Yeah, Alex Telles.
Oh, okay.
Good signing.
Yeah, so
Good signing.
yeah, I mean, I think after we saw Luke Shaw's performance, I think any player would have been an improvement. But yeah, no, he seems to be a solid signing. He's a player entering his prime. Should be, from what we've seen so far, he's a good player, and players from the Portuguese league tend to adapt well to other leagues from what we've seen. But yeah, I think the biggest miss right there was signing that really big name player. Jadon Sancho was linked all summer long, and that didn't happen. There was some rumors of possibly Ousmane Dembele potentially making either a loan or a permanent transfer to United, but that would have scuppered any chances of a future Jadon Sancho deal, so that didn't happen. Barcelona just wanted to potentially offload him to bring in Depay, but Depay's only got a year left on his contract, so he's gonna come in eventually, regardless, I guess. And yeah, I think they should have kept Smalling after seeing that the performance by United center backs against Spurs. I think Smalling would have genuinely probably started, given how good he's performed in Italy. So I think that was a potential mistake. But I do also get it, because United have so many big earners at the club currently, so many players that earn a lot of money that aren't even playing matches, or like rarely play matches. Like Juan Mata's still kicking around.
I forgot he existed.
Surprising. Right. But yeah, there were some rumors that Spurs would complete a move for Skriniar, but that ultimately did not happen. I think they'll revisit this in the future potentially, but they've been linked to Rodon, who's a Welsh center back from Swansea. I mean, he's been pretty highly rated. He plays for the national team, and he's arguably one of the best center backs in the Championship. So they are looking to potentially wrap up a deal for him in the next few days. But they remain pretty far apart on their valuation of the player, so we don't know if that's going to happen yet. But it's difficult to see if he comes in, if Skriniar would then come in later. So we'll see. But the biggest deadline day transfer was for Arsenal, I guess we could say.
It's party time. Yes.
Bomba clock.
Yes. I'm happy with the signing. I still don't rate our window that highly, but I'm happy with the signing. He's a very, very good midfielder. Not only is he good defensively, but just dribbling wise and passing forward, and he looks like he can be a box to box midfielder as well. I'm happy with the signing. It's a definite upgrade, a huge upgrade on Mohamed El Neni.
Me too,
I'm
bro.
happy.
Yeah, I'm happy with the signing. Good signing. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be an L for us. But they got the business done during this, difficult window. So I don't have many complaints at the moment.
Yeah, so we saw Guendouzi go out on loan, and Lucas Torreira also make his way to Atleti.
Yeah, we fucked up Atleti.
Yeah.
We genuinely fucked them.
Honestly, Imran, do you know how we could have fucked them up more? We could have triggered Partey's clause at the last second and then sent Torreira to Italy.
Yeah.
That's if the Italian that's dependent on so many things. But yeah, that would be
No, because
absolute
apparently there was agreements in place with maybe Torino and maybe another Italian club who wanted him.
The problem is not many people had money, man. Everyone was looking for loans.
No, but
Not
I
many
think
people
we had a
money.
deal for a purchase.
Oh, that was
Atletico
like well
wanted
below
loan.
our valuation though. That was like 16 mil or something. Something very low considering what we wanted. Yeah. Ozil is still at the club.
Yeah, I think the biggest, besides the couple transfers that we just mentioned, some of the biggest headlines would be players that we all thought would probably leave their clubs but ended up staying. Players like Mesut Ozil, Danny Rose, probably some Chelsea players like Emerson.
Danny Drinkwater.
We thought, Danny Drinkwater. We thought Kepa might potentially go out on loan somewhere, given his big wages. So yeah, I think it's been really difficult for clubs to shift players out this transfer window.
Yeah, 100.
All right, boys. Are there other topics you guys wanted to hit that we haven't hit yet?
I just wanted to ask Ryan, are you okay?
What do you mean?
Bro, you alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. Well, what's up?
Oh, you just sound a bit depressed, bro.
I mean, I am. You know how it is. You know how Man United does to these fans.
Trust me, I would know.
Play Fortnite with Ozil, innit? Might as well. He ain't doing nothing else.
Well, that's true, man. He's just getting a check. He got his loyalty bonus?
8 mil.
Yeah,
8 mil.
8 million
Bro,
bonus.
that's not a check. That's a freaking bag. It's a bank.
I'm telling you now,
That's what he got.
Ozil is at war with Arsenal. That whole Gunnosaurus thing, where he agreed to pay the Gunnosaurus wages.
Okay, that was a nice thing to do. That was a really nice thing to do.
Not only is that a PR move, that's an act of war.
But how do you know that, though, man?
How do you know that's a PR move, dog? Come on, he's been at that club for a minute now.
It's a great move. I genuinely support that because, in terms of his humanitarian actions, he does a lot, and this was probably done in good faith. But come on, man, the club. But by the way, Gunnosaurus was part of the 55 that were made redundant weeks ago, because the guy that does Gunnosaurus, he doesn't just do Gunnosaurus. He has an actual job at the club. So his job was lost as part of that 55. So the fact that this news story broke on deadline day is a bit mischievous of journalists. But yeah, so come on, man, it was all over social media that people including myself, didn't want Gunnosaurus to go, and then all of a sudden, don't worry, I'll pay it while I'm still at the club. To me, it just seemed like a PR move, as well as a good thing. But I genuinely think something bad has happened.
Who put a loyalty bonus in his contract? That's what I want to know.
That fraud, because you
Who the hell did that?
That was Wenger, bro.
I mean, all the big transfers usually have those in there to incentivize big players to stay at the club rather than transfer away.
I don't know.
Like, I remember there's been this huge dispute over Neymar's loyalty bonus, but then he transferred to PSG, so Barcelona were like saying, no, we don't owe you this money, and then he was suing Barcelona saying that they did owe him that money, and it was like a loyalty bonus of like almost 20 million or something. So like,
oh, I forgot about
that. Those loyalty bonuses are there, and if you play Football Manager, you see that shit's in there too, man.
Yeah.
This guy does not fail to mention Football Manager at every podcast.
100.
Hey, man, I love it.
I've never played it once.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's if you're a football nerd like me, you'll love it.
Yeah, it's probably better than FIFA, but FIFA's too much of an addiction.
There's a lot of things better than FIFA, to be fair.
That is very true.
Yeah, Pornhub is pretty good.
Oh.
What do you say?
Wait, what?
What did you say?
You guys didn't hear that?
No,
Oh,
I don't.
don't worry.
Wait, what do you
Don't
say?
No, I was saying this. It's been a good podcast. I think. We should
You know, something just came across my mind.
What?
Aren't United paying Cavani like 10 mil or something like that?
Huh? What?
His I think it's his agent or something like it might have been agent fees or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So, but weren't you guys like 10 million short for Jadon Sancho or something?
Oh no, we were way shorter than that. We were way shorter than that, dog.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, they wanted over 100 mil, and I think United
I think we offered
were maybe
80 to
around
90.
85-ish.
Yeah, 80 to 90,
Yeah.
and they wanted 120, and that was just not gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
Is the Sancho deal going to happen now? Because you bought two wingers.
Wait, we have two wingers?
You bought Pelestri and you bought.
Traore. Wait, what's
What's
that?
the other? The
Deadass? Like, wait, real talk? We signed people?
and the Atlantic.
You guys signed two teenagers. You guys signed a Uruguayan guy from one of the South American leagues. And you signed
the Atalanta.
Traore.
Yeah, Traore.
See,
Yeah.
you know what it is? I heard y'all talk about it earlier. I'm just like, wait, what are these guys talking about? United haven't signed anybody. Van de Beek is the only one we've signed this this summer. I don't know what these guys are talking about.
Damn.
So we're just gonna ignore
Dan's
that
in
Tellez was
He's in
signed.
denial mode. Okay.
He's in major denial.
100%, bro. Like, Sancho wasn't gonna happen. Why are we buying anybody else, man? We don't have money. Woodward said we're
Thing
broke.
is, though, like next summer, there's gonna be a lot of other clubs in for him.
Oh, we're not gonna get him next summer either, bro. Don't worry about
Probably
it.
not. I mean,
You can have him. You can
who
have
else
him.
would be in for him?
All right, well, that does it for today's episode of the Football Lookout. So we got some good games coming up this weekend. We will review those with you guys next week. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys today, and we will see you guys next time.
See you
When we
next time.
speak
Peace
next time, Everton might
Talk to
be
y'all
5-0. So we'll see you next week.
Cheers.